Today I'm on Once Upon a Twilight to answer a very interesting question about one of the characters introduced in Seeker but who really steps into her own in Traveler, and that is Catherine. Seeker is the story of three teenagers who've spent most of their lives training for what they think is a noble purpose, to be seekers, only to discover that their families are actually turning them into assassins. In Traveler, as they try to break away from this fate, or maybe embrace it, they discover that the world of seekers is larger than they'd realized, and they become entangled in a plan begun generations ago that immediately threatens their very survival. John is one of the main characters, and he's one of the more ambiguous characters in the book. He begins as the love interest for Quinn Kincaid, who's the main character in the series. And they seem very deeply in love, but then John isn't really all he appeared to be at the beginning, and actually might be one of the bad guys in the series, if not the bad guy. But we discover that he has grown up under the influence of his mother, who was killed when he was very young. Her name is Catherine. She gave him this driving purpose of his life, which was to avenge what had been done to their own family. When you see his life through that lens, you kind of understand where he's coming from, even if you don't agree with his methods. In Traveler, we get to see Catherine before she was the vindictive mother he knew as a child. We get to see her when she was a teenager, around 16 years old, when she had just taken her seeker oath, how much she wanted to change the world for the better, and was full of idealism for all the wonderful things she could do. We really understand what her life was like leading up to the incidents John participated in when he was a young child, and that so shaped his own life. And she really became one of my favorite characters. The romance between her and John's father when they were very young was one of the most enjoyable parts of writing this book. So I hope you give Catherine a chance. If you didn't like her in the first book, maybe you don't know everything there is to know about her. And in Traveler, you can find out more. Thank you so much to Once Upon a Twilight for having me on, and thank you for watching. If you're interested in being a writer, I do a weekly video called One Question, 2 Minutes, where I take questions about writing from readers and try to answer them as best I can. Feel free to send me your own questions.